Hey kids, today's story is called Sweet Briar Goes to School. And if you guys can see, Sweet Briar is a skunk. And we know what skunks smell like. Sweet Briar Goes to School by Karma Wilson. When she was born, her mama took one look at her and declared, "Isn't she the sweetest thing?" Her papa agreed. So they named her after the sweetest thing they could think of. The sweet briar rose growing in the garden. If you can see, there's flowers. And so they named her after a wonderful smelling flower. She's a skunk. Every night they sang this lullaby. Sweet, sweet briar, our pretty little rose, a breath of fresh air wherever she goes. But Sweet Briar was a skunk, and she smelled like one too. And as Sweet Briar grew, so did her aroma. On the first day of school, Mama and Papa couldn't have been prouder. "Off you go, little squirt," said Papa. "Remember to hold your tail high," said Mama. Well, Sweet Briar did, with her tail held up straight. She skipped all the way to school. But when she arrived, all the students ducked under their desks and they screamed, "Skunk!" Mrs. Chicory flitted and fused. "Oh my! Oh my! Is that any way to greet a classmate? What is your name, dear?" "Sweet Briar." "Welcome, Sweet Briar." Mrs. Chicory pointed to her desk. Sit right there." And Sweet Briar sat, and everyone scooted away as far as possible. That morning, Mrs. Chicory asked each student to stand up and say one nice thing about someone in class. Sweet Briar pointed to the groundhog in row 3. "Her hair, her fur is the color of pecans. I think pecans are beautiful." But no one said not anything nice about Sweet Briar Rose. Do you ever feel like these people sometimes? Or do you ever feel like Sweet Briar? To make matters worse, a lone wolf had been spotted wandering in the woods. Recess was inside. The class played Ring Around the Rosie, and Sweet Briar found herself all alone on the outside of the ring. When Mrs. Chicory stepped out to clap erasers, Permissum Possum pinched her nose and said, "Pink you!" Ragweed Rat chanted, "Skunks are rotten! Skunks are rotten!" Most horrible of all, Wormwood Weasel sneered and sang, "Stinky Sweet Briar, she's no rose. When she walks by, plug your nose." They were being rude, very rude. Sweet Briar was new to the class. After school, Sweet Briar slumped home, dragging her tail the whole way. She didn't feel smart, she didn't feel sweet, and she definitely didn't feel like a rose. "How was school, little squirt?" said Papa. Sweet Briar shrugged. Mama frowned. "Do you feel sick?" Sweet Briar hated for her parents to worry, so she said, "I'm fine." But she hardly ate any dinner, and she went to bed early. And when Mamma and Papa started to sing, "Sweet, sweet Briar, our pretty little," Briar sighed, "Not tonight, please." So she wasn't feeling too good about herself. The next day at school, everyone showed up with paper clips on their nose. Mrs. Chicory was not amused. Neither was Sweet Briar. So they put clothespins on their nose and paper clips on their nose to hide the smell. Later, Mrs. Chicory passed around letters from the alphabet, and she asked each student to recite 3 words starting with his or her letters. Sweet Briar got to the letter F, and she said, "F is for feelings. F is for frown, and F is for friend." Wormwood got the letter S, and he said, "S is for skunk. S is for stench, and S is for smelly." The whole class started and stared at Sweet Briar. It only helped a little when Mrs. Chicory said, "S is also for sir and sit. Do so now, Wormwood." So Wormwood was getting in trouble, and he was riling up all the classmates and making them laugh at Sweet Briar. Once more, because of the wolf, they stayed inside for recess. The class played hide and seek. No one came looking for Sweet Briar. When Mrs. Chicory stepped into the hall to chat to Mr. Clover, Promiscuous pointed at Sweet Briar and said, "Please play somewhere else." Ragweed shouted, "Skunks reek, skunks reek." And Wormwood sang a new song, the most horrible of all, and the whole class joined in. "Stinky Sweet Briar, she's no rose. She smells worse than grizzly toes." He's not being very kind. Sweet Briar couldn't wait to go home. "How was school?" asked Mama and Papa. Briar Rose just shrugged and said, "Fine, I guess." Well, that night, when Papa pretended to be the terrible tickler, Sweet Briar barely even smiled. When Mama offered to tell her favorite bedtime story, Sweet Briar said, "Maybe tomorrow." She's feeling sad about herself. She's not feeling good about herself either. As Sweet Briar laid in bed, she listened to her parents talk outside the door. "Something is very wrong," said Papa. "Is she having trouble fitting in?" Mama sighed. "Probably. I remember how hard those first days at school were. The skunk's perfume can be slightly overbearing to others. We must talk to Mrs. Chicory." "Most certainly," Papa said. "But I'm sure Sweet Briar will make friends soon. She is the sweetest thing in the whole world." Sweet Briar whispered, "No, I'm not." And she drifted off to sleep. Because everybody's not being kind to her, she's not feeling good about herself. The next day, Sweet Briar dragged her tail the whole way to school. She scrunched down into her desk all morning long. Mrs. Chicory announced, "The wolf hasn't been spotted today. Recess is outside." Everyone cheered. Everyone except Sweet Briar. During recess, Sweet Briar offered her swing to Promiscuous. Promiscuous pretended not to notice. Ragweed dropped the ball, so Briar Rose tossed it back, and Ragweed wouldn't even touch it. And nobody else would teeter-totter with Sweet Briar. You ever feel like that? Most horrible of all, Wormwood shouted, "Hey guys, I have a new Sweet Briar song, my funniest yet. he sang. Stinky sweet Briar, she's no. Oh, ugh, help! A wolf snatched up Wormwood right in the middle of his song, and everyone went running. Everyone panicked. Everyone, except Sweet Briar, who remembered Mama's rule. To keep the wolves and bears away, lift your tail and spray, spray, spray. And that's what Sweet Briar did. Good for something. She squirted that wolf right between the eyes. The wolf dropped Wormwood and ran into the woods wailing. Skunk! I've been skunked! Me too, Wormwood whimpered. Mrs. Chicory ushered the class inside. Wormwood, dear, would you please, go sit by the window? Mrs. Chicory declared. Sweet Briar saved the day. And there's no need to worry about wolves around here again. We will make you thank you cards to show you how much we appreciate you. Well, everyone did, and every card said something wonderful. Permissium's card said, please, let's be pals. Ragweed's card said, oh, skunks are cool. Skunks are cool. And Wormwood said, I'm sorry for all those stupid, stinky songs. Thanks for saving my life. P.S. Meet me after school. Mrs. Chicory presented Sweet Briar with a special gift, a wreath made of sweet briar roses. A lovely aroma filled the room, and the whole class took a deep whiff. Sweet Briar Rose smelled like a rose. She couldn't wait to show her parents. Best of all, after school, Wormwood sang a new song. Thanks to her, we're not wolf bait. Sweet, sweet Briar, she's just great. The whole class joined in, and Sweet Briar held her tail high. Wasn't that a good story? You see, Sweet Briar, she was as pretty as a rose, but she just didn't smell like one. But what was on the inside of her is what really truly showed at the end of the story. Boys and girls, be kind to one another. Someday you might need someone to be kind to you. Have a good day.